What up, everybody? This is episode 223. That's 223. And this episode was an episode with no plan whatsoever. I just told the guys to bring something to talk about. So just Bender and Bombcast Jay, that's what they did. They brought some random stuff. I get into it with a couple stories that weren't my stories, but they were very funny. And then we just, at least to me, and then we get into the pop culture. But that said, it is now April 14th as I record this intro and you're listening. And that means for 5 days we've had Dragon Hunters, the PC game, on Steam, available to buy from my friends Richie Darling and Tim Perry and their studio, Saigon Hearts Games. So please, if you haven't done so already, check that out. I don't have a promo code to give you for a discount, but what I can do is if you buy it and you want to submit a review after you've played it for a little while, I'll read them on air. Hell, send me a video. I'll play the video on air. I don't mind. But it could be fun. So give it a go. Thanks for listening to this little intro ramble. Thanks for downloading the episode. Now go tell everybody else to do the same thing. But at least wait till after you've heard it, and that doesn't happen until this bomb goes off now. When you tell the umpire or the ref that you're going to beat him up in the parking lot.
Yeah, I don't know who that fucking guy was. He hasn't been back yet.
Well, he shouldn't be back.
His kid's suspended for several games, so
we're gonna go ahead and start on that note.
Cool,
because we are back, and this is an episode. This is an old school episode in the sense that we are directionless. I have no agenda. I have a couple things I'm going to talk about. Not really pop culture related, but I think they're fun stories, and neither story's mine, but I do want to leave the names out of them, protect the innocent. I will start with this, though. I know we had a little chat back, a very, very small text back and forth. Oh, you know what? Let me digress back. You heard one voice. That be to my left would be just John, the Bender, and then almost directly across from me would be Bombcast Jay. Hey. Suspiciously, insuspiciously missing would be the Badger, but
he's almost ready.
He's almost ready to come back. He is now currently, after today, like me, awaiting his second COVID shot.
I had my first tomorrow.
I had my first today, and I have my second on coming up on May 2nd.
My second is like April 27th.
Was your arm sore after the first one?
No, but I felt like absolute dog shit the next day.
So which one did you have?
Moderna.
Oh, see, I have the Pfizer, and my arm hurts. Like somebody gave me a real good dead arm.
That's what everybody's that I know said about the Pfizer. I felt like I was underwater the next day. Like it was just all the symptoms of like a head cold, but none of the actual stuffiness. Like you felt like you were stuffed up.
I told Missy for a brief moment today, I felt like I was about to get sick, and then I didn't.
Yeah, no, it was all day on. Like I got mine on a Tuesday, all day Wednesday, Thursday was fine.
Now, the second one, my neighbor Barry said that it put him on his couch for 18 hours with the chills, and he goes, and then after that he was gold. Yeah. But are you getting it? Or do you need it? Because you had COVID.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the antibodies are gone at this point.
Oh, yeah.
3 months is the average.
So you're about on that. I got it because up in July, I'm flying to Michigan for work, and I don't think that the government is going to be able to pull off a mandatory vaccine card. I think people will sue, airlines will sue and stuff like that.
They already said they don't want to.
But just in case things get honky or wonky, well, I guess we got 3 honkies, but it gets wonky. I just want to get it out of the way. I will say this, politics aside, it is science, and science is not always accurate. And I am not really sure I'm in the camp that I'm going to give it to my 16-year-old daughter, soon to be 16-year-old daughter. Because there's not a lot of testing on 16-year-olds, and especially ones that maybe one day want to be reproductive, and you don't know how that's going to, I want to see the science.
Yeah.
I'm less worried about what happens to me. I'll be the guinea pig. I don't give a shit. But I don't want my kids to have to be, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah. It came to market awful quick, so you don't know long-term side
effects. I think we needed vaccines for this thing. I do think this thing was that serious. But it is scary how fast we got them.
There's several different things on that. COVID isn't necessarily new. This particular strain is new. So it's not like they were starting from like scratch. They've followed variations of COVID all the way up through like 2016.
Yeah, but one strain cannot be cured with the same vaccine as another.
Yeah, but it's not like you're starting from scratch. You had an idea and a basis.
Well, no vaccines are starting from scratch.
Yeah, but
but that doesn't change the fact that they did not have any cure for this one.
Yeah, I understand completely. I'll probably Jeremiah wants it. He wants it. Rachel's in the know with a bunch of people that she works with, and all of her experts in the field are giving it to their kids. So she's like, I feel like this science is pretty safe on it.
Well, see though, you got to stop doing that.
Yeah, I know.
One,
clicking. I found something.
But two, I feel like I think doctors know we need it, and I think people in the medical profession know that something is needed. But there is long-standing safeguards in place that we are ignoring for this one.
Yeah, but there's also long-standing risks from COVID that are happening to people too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no,
it's the benefits outweigh the risks.
This is. Well, that's what. But
as far as we know,
but we don't know that. Yeah. That's the thing. And I'm in this camp to where, I'll get it. The biggest fear I have is when they say, "Well, we're going to give it to the kids. It's fine."
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's unjustified. I think it's completely illogical thing to think about and discuss. We're in the camp of I think he wants it, and if he wants it, and the data so far hasn't shown any issues, we're going to let him get it.
Yeah, and that's where I'm scared because the data just started. Like it's like last Friday. I will say this: Barry's the one that told me he was on the couch for 18 hours. This is kind of a segue that I should cut out, but I'm not going to cut out. But Barry just told me a story. I'm not going to say where Barry works for a living. Let's just say Barry is a shaper of young minds. So one of the stories I'm going to tell, I just went over and had a beer with him. He texted me. He had one of those Petrichor chocolate Stark.
Yeah.
Chocolate Stark beer. It's pretty good stout. Good chocolate stout. A 6.5. Pretty good. Just even kill chocolate stout. It's pretty good. He likes Petrichor a lot. Now I will say this. He did tell me he's been to Petrichor 3 times and 3 times had bad experience with the staff.
Yeah.
He said it's not my favorite place to go, but it is some of my favorite beer to buy.
I've been there twice and had good experiences.
You're just a social butterfly. Actually, Barry's as social as it gets too when it comes to places. He loves going to places, but
maybe just one person hates him, and he just keeps getting
somebody he taught when they were little. So he was telling me a story about a fight the fight that happened in his school. We had 2.
And you were just blowing the lead on.
I'm not. So two kids reached out to him today wanting a Zoom link, and they were in ISS, and he's like, "No, you're in ISS. You don't get the Zoom link." That they were just going to stay home, and he's like, "Nope, not going to happen." So then he started asking his class what happened. Well, apparently there was a fight, but it's his story. It's not my story, but I do want to tell you the kind of how he built it up. He started with the most trustworthy student in his class at the time. He's like, and I'm just going to use fake names. So little Sarah, what happened? And keep in mind, these are 8th graders.
Okay.
And little Sarah's like, well, you should see. Well, you know how Bobby was picking on Billy all the time. And then he tells me, both Bobby and Billy are assholes. But one is a real big nerd. He goes, but is mouthy, and the other one is just one of the worst kids in school. And he goes, and is mouthy, and he goes, so it got heated, and so he goes, and I'm not lying to you, Jeremy. He goes, one of them looked at the other and said, 3 o'clock at the warehouse. We're gonna say the warehouse.
Yeah.
He goes, 3 o'clock at the warehouse, and he's like, good, you're on. And Barry stops. He goes, so all of a sudden, it's a movie plot. And he goes, so I went to the next student and I go, so did they end up fighting? And he said, yeah, but he goes, but I'm in trouble too and I have detention. He goes, well, why are you in trouble with detention? He goes, well, we got there early. Me and so-and-so got there early and we boxed with boxing gloves to warm up. And I go, were they mad at each other? He goes, no, they're friends, but they thought for the crowd, it would be a good undercard. So he goes, and I go, so crowd, he goes, I'm getting to it. He goes, so I asked the next girl, and I say, so did you go? And she goes, well, I went to the smoothie shop across the street from the warehouse. Or he goes, the smoothie shop. He goes, you mean the one across the street from the warehouse? He goes, yeah, but I didn't go to the fight. He goes, yeah, but wasn't it in the parking lot so you could see it? And she goes, yeah, but I didn't go.
Yeah, that's logic.
And then so he turned to another person in the class and he said, Tina, did you go? She goes, well, yeah, but I went to the sandwich shop. And he goes, you mean the one next to the smoothie shop? And she goes, yeah. And he goes, and what happened then? She goes, well, I got a text that the fight was on. And he goes, so was there a bunch of, he goes, so how many people were there? And one kid goes, well, it was about 3/4 of our class. So Barry goes, 180 kids. He goes, but it's not enough that they're all there. He goes, Billy, I think I said Billy was the nerd, right? Billy was the nerd. So Bobby walks down the street from the school to the warehouse, and people are slowly gathering behind him like in a movie.
Yeah.
And, like a Rocky running, and he gets there first, and then Billy comes wandering up by himself. No one on his side. So again, he's the lone guy. He's Clint Eastwood at this point.
Okay. And he's the nerdy one or the
nerdy one.
See, I thought you would have the group of nerds coming up behind.
No. People hitch their wagon to Bobby because Bobby's bigger. Bobby is a kind of a bully at school. Yeah. And they didn't want to get on Bobby's bad side. Well, so he goes back to Tina and he says, so what were you yelling fight? She goes, well, I wasn't. I stayed in the sandwich shop. He goes, but you could hear, right? She goes, oh yeah, they were all yelling fight. And I said, so what? So was it an epic fight? He goes, that's just it. They get there and Bobby starts calling Billy all kinds of names. So Billy, and this is on Instagram and TikTok, and they showed him. He didn't want to watch, but they showed him. So Billy walks up and decks him and knocks him out with one punch and walks off. So the guy that has the hundreds of people behind him is taunting, is the vile, disgusting person, and the nerd walks up, co-cocks him, and walks off.
So he's Peter Parker.
And I said, I think you just wrote a good Superbad type high school movie. And he goes, it totally could be. He goes, if I didn't think I would get in trouble for it. And I have to tell you this kid's real name at the end of it because it's the equivalent to Draco Malfoy.
Oh,
he
nice.
is a bad kid.
Okay.
So, but I was dying. And I didn't do it justice. But Barry told me the story over this full beer for 20 minutes of how he went to each kid and he goes, Jeremy, he goes, it was a slow day for me today. He goes, I went to about 80 kids and asked them their side of the story. And he goes, and I took notes and I think I pieced together the most accurate, truthful version of the fight that happened throughout the day. He goes, and it's amazing. I went to the principal after and said, look, I wrote this story. And he goes, I got the same details.
Nice.
Which is good to know that teachers are they want to hear the story.
Yeah.
But
they hate kids too.
Do you ever remember, did you in school ever have a famous fight? Like, was there one fight that your class still talks about to this day?
There was one. We were in an assembly, so we're all up in the bleachers in the gymnasium, and two kids got in a fight in the bleachers.
Oh, nice.
And so people are just falling all over the place. One girl tore her ACL, pushed out of the way.
Women fights are always the meanest.
Yeah. But yeah, there were people falling everywhere. It was crazy.
Yeah, I went to McClure and we had like a big atrium and the sound is insane right now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. That's new. I tried to fix whatever was going on with his, but it caused something to go wonky.
We might have some.
There, we're good.
I still sound like echoey to me, but whatever. Now I'm off.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
But we had like a big atrium, thing where everybody ate lunch, and there was always like some girls running their mouths and killing each other in there. And there was one where these girls were just throwing tables and beating the shit out of each other, and this girl was losing and getting hit on all sides, and somebody took her, and she was just kicking to keep herself alive, and she's hitting anybody, and somebody took her hair and just slammed it into a chair and just knocked her out cold. That was like the
pro
meanest
wrestling
thing
style.
I've ever seen.
Pro wrestling style.
Yeah, it was wild.
I grew up in southeast Missouri, Charleston, Missouri to be exact, which is not known to be a great place. And there was all kinds of those fights. I was a part of one of them, and not in the way you would want to be in a part of one of them. I was in 5th grade, so the way our school was structured, kindergarten went to one building, 1 through 5 went to one, 6th grade was in its own building, and then 7th, 8th grade, which was junior high, their quote-unquote playground, which is essentially just a basketball court and some pavement, backed up to our 1st through 5 thing. Well, I did get in a fight with a kid and got the better of him. You know, whatever that means. I beat him up.
Yeah.
He had a tough older brother that was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And the next day, I'm sitting on the swings, and the 5th grader, might have been 4th grade, sitting on the swings, the tougher older brother had hopped the fence and came up and said, "Hey, is your name Jeremy?" And I said, "Yeah." Bam! Drilled me right in the nose. Knocked me back. Did a flip out of the swing. Busted nose. And then he started trying to beat me up, which he was accomplishing it, but I grabbed him. And because I grabbed him and squeezed it, knocked him over. So we're laying on the ground. I'm on top, but holding on for dear life. And he's hitting me on the side and the back of the head, and blood's everywhere. Well, then the people started doing the fight. And the teachers come and they're pulling me off, and he still hit me, so I won't let go.
Yeah.
So the story goes around that he punched me and I took him down and we were rolling around and they were like, and Jeremy was on top of him beating him up. I never threw a punch.
Yeah.
All I got was my ass beat by an older kid. But the optics of it was that Jeremy held his own and there was blood everywhere. And they were like, there was so much blood. Yeah, it was all mine.
Yeah.
It was every bit of it. And I didn't have one bruise other than my busted nose, but I had knots all over the back of my head. And that was talked about for a long time. And then I once got stabbed by a pencil in line in school, and I got stabbed in the hand by a pencil. So it was rough. It wasn't like I was the exception.
Yeah.
I was kind of the norm. I mean, it was a bad school.
Yeah.
So
we had a kid one time, my buddy Matt. Mine was a pretty rough school too. It was quote unquote
you were
kind
North
of
County.
hood. Yeah, it was real North County. And my buddy Matt at the time didn't know how to keep his mouth shut. And he's running his mouth to this kid who, in all fairness, Matt was a solid foot taller than, but the kid was very fit. And I'm like, hey, Matt was pretty fit at the time, too. And I'm like, man, I don't know. Matt, you should probably keep your mouth shut. And, like, Matt's running his mouth, and the kid's like, you want to go? And Matt goes, yeah. And, like, that was it. The kid moved so fast and hit Matt so hard that he was spinning. And then, like, I'm just standing there, and then this kid, like, accomplishes it, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Like, just gone. they go to, like, set him up to, Matt gets, his eye is immediately black and just bleeding profusely. And I think he cut me off again.
no, I think, keep going.
But he's just bleeding profusely, and the teachers come out, and they're like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. They were talking, and one of them got hit. He goes, do you know who did it? I'm like, I think he was a freshman. I honestly have no idea what he looked like. It happened so fast. Like, even Matt couldn't pick him out of the lineup. It was so quick.
Maybe if you make them blur their fists real quick.
I was like, I've never seen anybody move that fast in my life. I was like, Matt's like, why didn't you back me up? I'm like, I didn't even realize you got hit until he was gone.
You got hit 7 times before I yelled, Matt!
Just picturing a cartoon, too.
Yeah. Oh, man, it was great. Good stuff.
I'm going to tell one more story. And again, I'm not going to say any names, but let's say on a certain social platform. And it's a certain person I've texted you and Tom about that I have a very fun time listening to their stories on this social platform.
Okay.
Remember that I told you about the guy named 12?
Yeah.
So she was suspended for like, I guess, I don't know, 2 weeks, 30 days on that social platform. And she was suspended because her story came out from TikTok to Facebook. Who gives a fuck about the platform? And it was like, so I can't do it justice, man. It's hard to get through. So it starts, she's laying in bed, and she's like, I've got a secret. And she goes, I've been holding this for a long time, but this person here, and throws his handle up on there, is a liar and a cheater and is into having sex with dogs. Sexual acts,
That's a crime.
She then said, which I'm pretty sure is illegal, but she said, he's a married man, and he'll ask you to join, watch, like want to watch it with you when two other, and And so I watched this for I had to be watching in real time as with the Facebook people. Because I kept clicking. More. I gotta see the next one. I
just liking it. You're egging on
I'm
it.
just, man, these. So I keep going. And then all of a sudden, it just disappeared. So I was like, I'm going to go start back at the beginning. And they're gone.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't find this person for a while. But
Just got reported.
yeah, but now they're back on there. Which, the guy that she's calling out reported her, right?
Yeah.
I would assume so.
But if she's accurate, this is a story that needs to be told to the world.
To the world, or just
The authorities?
In the authorities.
Well, that's why I kept clicking. I wanted to know if his wife was a part of it or she was oblivious to this. Because I gotta tell you, you find out your husband's cheating on you, bad, bad. No, maybe the worst thing in the world, or is it? You find out he's cheating on you, and with those people, they're engaging in bestiality. Much worse.
Let me ask you: is it worse if you take the family pet, or if you just find randoms?
Could you look at your family pet if you
Go
found
adopt
out?
one for a day.
Yeah.
If you found out someone did that to your family pet, could you even look your dog in the eye ever again?
This is
Sorry,
this
buddy.
is an uncomfortable conversation.
Sorry, buddy. Well, you
This
know,
made me at first I was like, this is funny, and now I'm just sad.
it was. And that's the emotional roller coaster I went on watching this a few days ago. And you don't work for Puppy Chow Industries anymore. We can talk about this stuff.
No. I don't condone it.
No one condones it.
Yeah.
Clearly, Facebook did the right thing here. Here's what my other favorite thing is this person I'm talking about is an incredibly far right-wing person. And always talking about, your right to free speech and stuff. And then they get banned. And
Yeah.
I feel like, and I haven't went back to trace the return, I feel like waiting to find the one post where she goes, so the Facebook Nazis banned me for what I said.
They
and then,
censored me.
And then I want to see everyone go, you know what, in this case, they got it right. Maybe they were in the
Turns
right.
out you can't accuse people of bestiality without proof.
So is there a possibility he was getting it on with someone and the dog just kind of came up and stuck their nose up?
That's probably the.
Oh, that
That's
happens.
probably what
I'm
happened.
guessing that happens.
Yeah.
What's the there's a famous movie where he tells that. Oh, it's 40-year-old virgin.
Yeah.
When they're doing it, I know you're sick ass. He goes, I finished up. Then I took the dog home. Seth Rogen's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not cheating if it's your dog.
Yeah, because
Because it's your dog. We get it. Yeah. We get it.
Yeah. Man, it's good stuff. So that's really the only two real stories I brought. I do have something in the Throw It to Missy segment to talk about, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say you guys brought something because I did no research or anything for the day.
Yeah, I didn't really do a whole lot. I've been watching some stuff. I listened. You guys did not talk about King Kong versus Godzilla, did you? I don't think you did.
We did not. We did a little.
bit.
A little.
Did you near the end?
Yes.
Yeah,
near the end,
okay. Because I had a
a movie that I absolutely loved.
I loved it.
Did you watch it yet?
No,
I don't
then we
want to
can't
talk
watch
to
it.
you anymore.
we were going to watch it on Friday night, and then Madeline threw a big fit because she hadn't seen any other Kong or.
Actually, that's probably better.
I know, that's what
probably
I told her.
better. Because
That's
if
what
you
I told
watch
her.
the other two Godzillas, you're going to be like, I don't really want to watch this.
Yeah.
Kong Skull Island's pretty sweet. Man, you are fucking with my sound this whole day.
You're fine. You just quit it. It's your headphones that are messed up.
Is that it?
Yeah.
What else? Oh, Invincible. You guys caught up on that?
Oh, yeah.
I am 100%.
I caught up today, and I'm reading it real time with the comic because I've tried the comic 2 other times, and for whatever reason, never got past the second trade.
Yeah.
Not because I didn't like it; it's just I guess something else came up, so I started that, and I think I'm on the 4th trade. I'm enjoying the fact that the show is like the same but so different, and I get it. It's the story medium requires a little bit of a faster or bigger pace.
Yeah.
But
Probably a little more updated, too,
Yeah,
since the comic
yeah.
is like 15 years old.
yeah, and they changed some genders on some of the characters and stuff to make them more like his mom. Steven Yen is. So they made his mom. What's her name from Killing Eve? And she was in ER.
No, Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of her name, though.
Yeah. I want to apologize to everyone that is listening to the episode if the sound was a little wonky. It turns out I'm dyslexic. I always go clockwise, but apparently as I was trying to get your sound fixed, I was going counterclockwise.
Okay.
That's why it kept being yours.
It's Sandra Oh.
Sandra Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, why didn't
Yeah.
you say Sandra Oh? I knew that.
I just could not think of her name all of a sudden. But man, it's like
It's
the comic
good.
and the show. I think is freaking great.
No, the comic is a masterpiece, and the show they're condensing a lot of the story. And like the first villain in the first story arc is not the villain in this story arc.
Yeah,
and they're kind of, spoiler alert, getting you to one of the big overarching bad guys. And that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
It's a very fun, very intriguing, and just the right amount of gore and stuff.
Right amount. That's an understatement. I think.
It starts hard, and then it kind of lightens up a little bit.
Man, when spoilers, when he takes out the global
Guardians.
man, it's way better in the show than it is in the comic. Because in the comic, it's just fast and none of them see it
there's
coming.
not a real fight in the comic.
Yeah, man. And I'm not that far. Like I said, I'm only 4 issues in, but there's no real catch on that he's the bad guy in the comic until he really reveals himself.
Yeah, and then in the show, you find out.
Yeah,
right
like
away.
it's a slow burn, you find out, but then also like everybody else around him hasn't figured it out. Nobody in the comic has figured it out yet. They're kind of. It seems.
Well,
like
I can't wait in the comic. In fact, you should read ahead in the comic.
I'm trying. I'm going as fast
Because
as I can.
when you find out in the comic, you talk about brutal.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
And if you watch it in the show first, I feel like it's going to take a little of the steam out of it from the comic book.
Yeah.
Because I'm at the point where the clones, just after they bring him back, and he kills him, and he's told the son, and his son just woke up from his ass whooping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Battle Beast comes back again later.
Battle Beast isn't there in the comic yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the show, he's going to have.
Show's awesome.
Yeah, he comes back in the show too because that was the trailer let you know that.
Yeah.
I guess since we before we go to whatever you got next, we can at least segue from the 4th episode of that to the 4th episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, which I also loved them.
There's still, it's weird how much of the internet is still divided on this show. Or they think that, well, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
It is.
It's fucking awesome, and it's opened up so much more the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
And this last episode with what he did with, I'm not a spoiler warning, but what Fake Cap did was an awesome ending to an episode.
Yeah.
He clearly has PTSD.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that they haven't addressed in the MCU a whole lot other than Falcon.
They did do it with Tony.
Yeah.
Remember in the second Iron Man, or was it third Iron Man?
Iron
He
Man.
really was.
And like he said, what Falcon was doing a little bit of the...
Yeah, and
But
Cap was doing the same type of thing
yeah,
after the blip.
The snap. Yeah.
just
the blip.
a little bit
they're
of,
called.
oh, we did that for the PTSD soldiers, and
Yeah.
it's just like 1 second of the 120-minute movie.
But I feel it's more in line with what they did in Punisher with the PTSD stuff.
Okay. See, I never finished Punisher's second season.
Yeah, I think it was more the first season, though. Oh, no, it was second season. Cause,
I know what you're talking about, though.
yeah, having all the groups and talking about all the issues. And
I think what people... Like, the very first episode, like, right out of the gate, that first battle with Falcon and
Batroc.
Batroc. Zaleeper.
was fucking spectacular.
Yeah.
Like insane. And then the whole show was kind of like slowed down and turned into a slow burn. And I really enjoy it. I think it's working out pretty well.
For me, you just keep Baron Zemo on the screen. and
yeah.
you're doing
Highlight.
fucking
Yeah,
great,
man. Did you see they released like a Snyder cut of him
The dance?
dancing? It's just an hour of that over and over again.
It's awesome.
Well, yeah, because that was all improvised.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
they didn't script it. He just started doing it, and they filmed him. And he said if you would have saw Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan watching him and laughing.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's never any music like on the set. It's just him doing stuff,
Yeah.
with people standing around. I did not expect that. I didn't read a whole lot. I've been trying to go into these as blind as possible. I didn't expect him to be I didn't expect it to be
A big
them
part of the
three
story.
hanging out together.
Yeah,
like
it's a
running
massive
around.
part of the story. And again, we're not giving away any plot points, but when the Wakandans show up in this episode,
Yeah.
well, that's bad. And that was a awesome part with Fake Cap.
Yeah.
Was how disheartened he was.
superpowers.
Yeah.
Super soldiers.
Yeah, they're not super soldiers, and but they're bad bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very cool. And again, I think this is. I mean, We also know that Marvel just said, or Disney said, a massive Marvel MCU cameo next week.
Yep.
And I heard there's going to be one they haven't introduced yet next week.
Yeah.
A character they haven't done anything with.
Now, the girl, the Flag Smasher girl, that's a real character in the universe, in the MCU.
Well, the Flag Smasher is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one person.
One guy.
Yeah,
though, right?
and
Yeah, I thought
they
so.
gender swapped her.
Yeah.
Because it's Carly, but in the comic it was Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And decent character, especially not when they initially introduced the character, but
Yeah.
was it who's run Cassidy and was it Remender who wrote that? Rick Remender or Brubaker's
Yeah.
run. They had some good runs with the Flag Smasher, some good stories
Yeah.
with it too. So yeah, I'm all in on it. I don't understand why people are like, WandaVision was very, very good.
Yeah.
But it wasn't so good that this doesn't deserve praise.
Yeah, and I think with people comparing the full thing of WandaVision to a partial story of this, kind of, you
Still
can't
makes
do
them
it
dumb.
yet.
Yeah, and Matt Basler on the episode where we broke down the debut said it best. It's almost like in the day we're in, people have forgot how storytelling's done.
Yeah.
Like they automatically started giving death threats to Wyatt Russell in real life because he replaced Chris Evans, and he's like, no. Walker replaced Rogers.
Yeah.
And that story's gonna go somewhere.
Like Sebastian Stan said that people walk up to him and try to like give him the code,
code
just
words,
turn him
yeah.
back on. Yeah, like come on, guys, like that's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
oh man, what another good scene too. Her making showing him that he was broken of the things.
Yeah.
That was
This other podcast I listened to goes though, would you want to just test it out in English also? Maybe.
yeah. See if they see how many languages you got to erase it. Yeah. Yeah.
But
So-
the point came across.
it's so far. I'm still, like I said, I'm still in. I love how they brought in the other Cap.
Yeah.
The other. So all of it's good.
The Madripoor stuff,
Yeah.
Madripoor's awesome.
yeah, and I think what's her name? I'm blanking on names.
Sharon Carter.
Sharon Carter. I don't know, man. Like, I'm not saying she's gonna be bad, but I think she's not all as good as she's doing what she's got to do. Like, she's got a card up her sleeve.
Well, I think if you read if you read Ta-Nehisi Coates' run on Captain America,
I'm only like halfway through it.
you know that Sharon is a patriot and a soldier
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this Sharon is. She just is she's a Ronin. She's a soldier without a country right now. So she's doing. I don't think she's bad. I
Yeah.
think she's adapted to what, and she kind of says it. I've adapted to what I have to.
Yeah.
I think they're going to let her back in. I think.
Sharon runs a Black Ops team in the Ta-Nehisi Coates.
All the women.
Yeah, all the women, and like even Steve Rogers doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
keeps it that
the
way.
Daughters of Liberty.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and it's in this. Remember, at some point we're going to get Nick Fury back in charge, and she could just bypass Shield and go straight to Sword or something.
Yeah.
At that point, we haven't. Nick Fury has not revealed that he's back in a leadership position yet in the MCU, so all can be forgiven at that point.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That'll probably be Loki before he does that, right? I don't think he'll come out in this.
Oh, it's going to be a movie. It's going to be
Yeah.
the next Captain Marvel. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's going to set up Secret Invasion, which is going to focus on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
We got to remember, Samuel Jackson is not young.
Yeah.
He's in his 70s.
60s.
60s?
Yeah, he's not 70s. Right?
I think he's
think
closing
he's
in on
close to
70.
We got to look at, boy, what a good genes, man. It's like whatever we can do to extract William
keeping-
Shatner and Sam
yeah.
Jackson.
It's just, well, I don't know about William Shatner, but like Samuel L. Jackson is the fact that he just works continuously.
William Shatner's in his 90s.
I know, but I don't know what he does except for.
72.
I thought he was 72.
God in heaven.
Yeah, we got James Earl Jones is up in his 90s too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but James Earl Jones ain't still going out making,
No. He's doing voiceovers. That's it.
William Shatner is exactly 90 years old, and he had like a sitcom 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Him and Betty White.
Yeah.
They should have had kids. They could have restarted the human race if we needed it.
And he's not like, at least Sam Jackson like looks kind of fit, like William Shatner. I'm not that he's like a fat guy, but he's like a chubby old guy, like a dad bod.
Hey, more power to him. Most 90-year-olds I've ever seen are withered away.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like he's like they're all, moving along. And
All
stuff.
those golden age of comedy guys, those the Milton Berles, the
Mel Brooks,
and Carl Reiner, all those guys. I mean, Mel Brooks, his son Max Brooks was on Chris Hardwick's podcast one time, and he asked him, he goes, "Your dad is 89, and they still get together once a week, and He goes, "How do they do it?" He goes, "Well, he's never done drugs. He makes laughs for a living, and he's always been faithful to my mom." He goes, that's a pretty recipe for having a good stress level in your life.
Yeah.
I guess that'll do it.
Also,
I'm fucked.
Yeah. All the blood of all those children from the Illuminati that they're drinking.
We make nobody laugh. We barely get together weekly for this podcast. And I can't say that we have the love of good women. I mean, they're okay.
They tolerate us.
Yeah. Really.
And we drink
a lot.
Like fish.
Yeah. What do you got next?
So I watched Last Chance U basketball. So the football,
I hear it's better than the football.
I like the football better just because those kids were more of a train wreck. But
what about I've heard stories about the guy that was a D1 caliber player, the big guy.
Yeah.
And
there's some of those stories, but I guess football rosters are a lot bigger, so you have a lot more issues to deal with. But the thing that helped this one so much was they ran into COVID as they were going to, I think they lost their first game of the season, won everything else. They were going to the championship for the first time. This coach has been trying to get a championship for years, and this was their chance to do it. And then COVID hit. They were on their bus going to the tournament, and they said, "All right, get off the bus." They canceled it.
That sucks.
It was the last tournament left in the country, and
they
had to sit and watch all these news reports about everything going on. But
they never had it. It's just that tournament itself was canceled.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was. But a lot of these guys went to D1 schools for the following season. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Get their second. A lot of them get their second chance and all that.
But if you see the football, the story of season 1 football players, there's a guy in jail for murder.
Oh, really?
Yeah. These kids had lots of issues.
Did you just blow a fuse?
No, I think the light just went out on there. I just want to make sure it was the light, not the actual fridge going out.
Yeah.
That fridge is old, remember?
Yeah, it's 50 years old.
Yeah, it came from his in-laws.
From the 70s, so yeah.
They used to have a padlock. I told you that, right?
Yeah.
I just thought it's the funniest thing I've ever heard. He liked to wake up in the middle of the night and snack.
Yeah. Somebody might have had portion control issues.
I actually heard another podcast talking about it, and they were massive fans of the first one, and the football, and they actually liked the basketball a little better. They said, still,
it was more likable.
Yeah. What about you? What else you bring?
I've been reading a lot more comics, playing around some different genres. I texted you guys. Did either of you check out that Plunge by Joe Hill?
No, but I did over Halloween read. Wait a minute, you might have to tell me what Plunge is about.
Plunge is, I'll give you the quick synopsis. It's a 1983 state-of-the-art drilling ship, the Derelith, vanished near the Arctic Circle.
I'll read it. You don't have to give me. And now you can continue to talk about it. I don't mind, but I'll read because over Halloween. You know how every once in a while Hoopla gives you this doesn't go against your total downloads. Yep. Joe Hill was one for Halloween, and I read everything they had on it. And there was a trip I took for work to maybe to Scottsdale, and I had downloaded all of the Lock and Keys that I could from Joe Hill. And
excuse me, I'm sorry.
He got really worked up over Lock and Key.
See, I tried reading Lock and Key, and I didn't like the art.
I dig the art, but I like the first 2 or 3, and then it kind of got okay. I'm over it.
Yeah.
But the one-off scarier stuff has been awesome.
Okay.
That from like
Plunge and stuff. Yeah, Plunge is really good. It's kind of got a Thing vibe to it. It's about a ship that disappears in 1983, and then all of a sudden turns back on out of nowhere, and this shady corporation, because there always is, it's like an Alien/Thing type vibe, hires this diving company to go check it out, and they get there and weird shit happens, and it's pretty creepy.
As
and
it tends to do.
Yeah.
the story overall is really good. And Joe Hill is a spectacular horror writer.
Yeah, and all of the what I like about them, it's the same thing that you and I got real big in on Chrononauts for,
Yeah.
is they all read, there are usually 3 to 4 issues, and they all read like a movie.
Yeah.
Like, it really feels like you just watched a movie when you go through.
And his books are the same way, especially like when I was doing that run where I did that 15K or whatever. I was listening to his books while I was training, and man, they move so fast, and it's like 14 hours worth of a book, and you just burn right through it. And the story is spectacular. There was, I forget the name of it, I'll look it up, but one where a guy gets a suit, and he puts it on, and it's a cursed suit, and everybody
it's
around
a Jackie
him,
Chan movie.
Yeah.
everybody
the
around him
tuxedo.
keeps dying horrible deaths, like killing themselves or like attempted murder, and like he's on the run trying to like prove
God
his innocence.
damn it, does he look good when they die?
And it turns out he's a rock star, and it was a girl that he had fucked over, and her family, and she goes down a drug trip and ends up dying, and her family sends this as a revenge. They're like gypsies or whatever.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's fucking wild, and it's great, man. It's a great story.
You remember the Sam Raimi PG-13 horror movie, Drag Me to Hell?
Yeah.
That was a very good movie.
It was very good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
But you'll like Plunge. It's good. And then I'm currently trying to finish up Casanova Quinn.
Oh, I got the 3 trades, the hardcovers right down there.
And it's like a Cedia Volume 2, which is...
Well, Volume 1's awesome. And then they get a little wonky.
Yeah, but so... Okay, so Volume 1 is great, and then it's Gala... Or no, it's...
Yeah.
Yeah, Gala, and then whatever that last one is. But the 4th volume is split up into 2, and it's like a Cedia or something, Volume 1 and Volume 2. And it's so fucking off the walls.
Yeah.
And I cannot figure it out. Like, it's... Basically, Quinn is crash landed. He doesn't remember who he is. But he's crash landed in this one universe. But then all the other universes that he's fucked up, there's a group of hunters in those universes trying to go around and kill him in every universe. And they're all,
that's
like,
right, yeah.
vibing to kill him. And he doesn't know who he is. And there's spirits.
Yeah.
And there's people naked all the time. And
It's
there's
a tough
warthog
one.
people. And I'm like...
It's a tough one.
And so every issue I read it, and then I'm like, has anybody done a synopsis of like what this is? And the only thing I can find is an interview where Matt Fraction just says, "This is everything I've ever wanted in a comic book, and I did it." And there's no other explanation of like where this story is. Does it make sense? It doesn't. It
No.
does not make fucking sense.
But the dialogue's fun.
It is, and
The
the art is
artist,
spectacular.
Gabriel Ba and
Fabio
Moon,
Yeah.
just amazing art. So it's always worth reading.
It is very much worth reading, especially the first. I'd say
first one's a
2
masterpiece.
trades.
Yeah.
And then after that, I just want somebody to read it and tell me they could be wrong, but I just want someone.
You just want
to
a
explain
story
it to
that
me.
you could relate to.
Yeah.
Some interpretation of it.
That's what that means. Like, oh, it doesn't matter if it's right. I just need it.
Yeah.
Like it's driving me crazy.
I get it. I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, but again, every day I sit down and I read another like 5 or 6 pages and then try to absorb what I just looked at, and it sometimes makes sense.
Yeah. Let's go with what you got next.
So continue on that. I'm rereading Sandman since I picked up the Omnibuy.
It's a lot of words.
Yes, a lot of words.
Now, listen. I feel like I owe it to myself to go back and reread Sandman now that I'm older and I've read all of Gaiman's books.
Yeah.
Because I probably started I since I've got the omnibus, I haven't read them. I read those probably when I was 20 in college. Just, I was like, everybody says this is amazing. I got to read it.
Yeah.
And it was a rough go for me.
Yeah.
It's a slow burn. I read the first probably 10 issues, and I just...
Oh, and I've read them again a little bit later and liked them very much. I feel like if I dove in now, I would be like, now this is great.
Yeah. I'm picking up a lot of stuff I didn't get the first time, like how it all ties together.
Yeah.
If you don't read them consecutively, the stories, there's things you miss, like certain characters popping up at the beginning that are big parts of it later on. So it's definitely helped me read it.
That's kind of how his books go, too. Like, what is the spider god, Anansi?
Anansi.
Anansi. Yeah, he pops up in books here or there,
Yeah.
and he could be in one chapter and you don't see him again, and then another book he's a major player in it. And
That show's good
cool.
done, by the way. American Gods.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It's all officially done.
yeah, I think they're gonna try to pull a movie out of it by the end.
Good luck. You had disgruntled actors, and you had a lot of. When you have that many headaches going around there, for the longest time, we had the most beloved sci-fi franchise ever in Serenity and Firefly, and they couldn't pull it together to relaunch. And now Joss Whedon's hated, so that's never coming back.
He's got a show on HBO Max though.
I almost watched it today. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not.
For now, he has a show.
Well,
I mean, it's shot.
He's not in charge of it anymore.
Right, and they have not put his name on any of it.
That's what I'm saying. They've barely even advertised it, and it looks cool. It looks right up our alley of shit that we would watch. But he's got a black mark on his name. So
his name is a black mark, is what you mean?
Yeah. I mean, not undeserved. Apparently, he's apparently a pretty not great person.
Yeah.
Not Kevin Spacey level yet.
No, just like a massive dick, I guess.
Yeah.
And then now the stories have came out, and Gal Gadot has kind of confirmed them that he threatened to ruin her career if she didn't learn to read lines or say the words like they were on the paper.
Yeah.
And then the Carista or whatever name from Buffy, and then the other, and then Charisma Carpenter. Yeah,
I can see where you could have trouble with charisma.
I kept wanting to say Clarissa Flockhart or whatever.
You still didn't say that.
I didn't say that. I mean, you know me, man. If I got a thing, it's saying things wrong. The stuff that she said, like the way he treated her when she got pregnant.
Yeah.
Basically wrote her out of the show because he didn't tell her that she was gonna. It's almost like he takes it personal if women have their own lives, it seems like.
Which is funny because his thing was writing female characters.
Yeah, strong female. But I guess maybe he felt like they owe.
I don't want to get too deep in the weeds here for you guys, but a nerdy white guy, never good with women.
Yeah.
Gets creative and successful in life. Suddenly makes a whole bunch of shows about women, hot women.
Yeah.
I think we could see this one coming.
I guess the writing is kind of on the wall.
Tarantino, who my favorite director of all time, also had a big crush on Uma Thurman, and she loves him.
Treated her like shit.
Well, she loves him, but she said he put her through the ringer in order to get what
he almost killed her. Or whatever.
Yeah. So
destroyed her marriage.
Yeah.
Like he literally ran her into a wall or whatever in the car, right?
Yeah.
And Kill Bill, whichever one.
Yeah. So this is people should go, hey, before we let this guy employ all these hot women, maybe we should put some restrictions on him first.
Let's look at his Twitter feed real quick.
Yeah.
From 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times though.
How about it's not a big thing to talk about, but speaking of movies. How about that little Stay Puft Marshmallow Man clip from Ghostbusters?
Yeah, I've seen it everywhere.
How awesome did that look, though?
It's freaking adorable.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's the thing with this movie. It's the third film that we needed that we didn't get with the female Ghostbusters. Again, I'm not sexist. I mean, I'm unintentionally sexist when I am sexist, but that movie, the redeeming quality of that movie was the one guy in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't, and it had nothing to do with the women because those are all mega talented women. It just wasn't a great movie.
It's kind of a lazy story all around.
It's a bad TV series, and it made for a worse movie. But so this is the one we needed, and I don't know anything about it other than that initial trailer and then this little peek at it. But when I see Paul Rudd on screen, I think, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. It just makes you happy.
Yeah. Him and Bill Murray, I'm like, it's okay. Whatever they do is going to work.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did you see that Stranger Things is filming?
Yes.
Season 4? Did you see...
The final season.
Yeah, it's got to be because all those kids are adults now. One of them has another movie on Netflix with Idris Elba, and he's a grown man, and it's smoking weed, driving around drinking.
I want to watch that Idris Elba movie.
I watched 30, 40 minutes of it, and it's very depressing, father parenting issue shit. And I'm like, this is a little heavy for a Friday night, and I'm kind of drunk.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's just so grown up. Sorry.
Bend eruption.
Yeah. Have you guys seen Colossal?
Yes, he's talked about it on
with
that show.
Anne Hathaway.
Yeah,
and Jason
he brought it in an
Sudeikis.
episode
Yeah.
a few years ago.
very good.
Yeah, I had heard about it and always forgot about it, but I saw
Allegory
it was on
for
Hulu.
an abusive relationship.
Yes.
Yeah,
very,
like
very heavy.
Which you didn't.
There the Giants
trauma.
Well, like
Yeah.
the D&D one, the I Fear Giants or whatever.
Yeah,
I Kill Giants.
I
Yeah.
Kill Giants. Yeah,
yeah.
both of those allegories for traumatic events.
Yeah, but man, I wasn't expecting the trauma
turn?
part of it to be
Yeah.
so big.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good though.
Yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of it, and weird, just super weird, but in like all of the best ways.
Yeah.
you know, until it got dark, and you're like, oh, I feel bad a little,
Yeah,
but
But a
it's
cool
fun.
concept.
Very
Out of
cool
the gate.
concept. Very
Yeah.
cool concept.
Good another day. Yeah, out of the.
Man, I'd watch Anne Hathaway read the back of a cereal box.
So my wife doesn't like Anne Hathaway. She doesn't think she's that pretty. And I love my wife, but she's very wrong.
Yeah.
And Anne Hathaway is very pretty.
Is it because she's also a tall brunette?
No, I've heard other women say, "What's so hot about Anne Hathaway?" And I go, "I don't know. It's probably her face and her body."
Yeah.
So I mean, if you like a good body and a really pretty face, then she's your cup of tea.
Yeah.
And if you're like me and a pervert, you watch the movie Havoc for her
Yep.
masturbation scene,
Yeah.
and it's one of the greatest scenes in all the movies.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about that movie. I was like, I'm going to watch this
still don't.
7 more times.
I've only watched 6 minutes of it
Yeah.
over and over.
It's not a bad movie.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. It's got some good actors in it too.
Yeah,
So.
it's that's like my wife when she says she doesn't think Jason Momoa is attractive. I'm like, I think you're lying. And she's like, I'm just not into scraggly beards and long hair. He looks like he needs a bath. I'm like, I still think you're lying.
Yeah.
You're lying. You don't
those
have to do
Icelandic
this.
ladies will sing to him. So he's
Yeah.
obviously got something going for him.
By the way, she's not wrong.
Yeah, he definitely needs a bath.
He needs a bath. He does have a big, long, scraggly beard and looks like his hair is matted, but also happens to have cool tattoos, be very unique looking,
Yeah.
and fucking Khal Drago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and Conan, by the way.
I mean, there's a reason why he took off his shirt every time he was on scene.
Yeah. That I know I wasn't here for that episode because I had a class and everything, but that was the thing that drove me the craziest about the whole thing. I'm like, this guy's just throwing clothes everywhere. Is he supposed to care about like preserving the ocean? He keeps throwing shit in it.
Yeah.
They didn't show the turtle stuck in a sweater someplace.
Yeah.
On his back, just fucking. That's
Fucking hermit crab carrying around like a Jack Daniels body on his back. Come on.
That's hilarious.
Very inappropriate.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you like the Snyder Cut though?
No, not really. I mean, did I like it?
Better than the other?
I'm pretty sure because I don't remember at all the other version.
No.
I think it looked better as a whole. Like that fight when they first fight. What the fuck? Steppenwolf in the tunnels down below.
Yeah.
Like, I think it looked a lot better there. I remember that fight, and I'm like, this looks fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It's just like a terrible video game. I thought they did a better job with Flash. Also, Cyborg's character made a lot more sense. Like, just the whole thing made a lot.
Yeah,
more sense.
like I said, it made sense enough to raise it a full letter grade to a C-.
Yeah. Like Martian Manhunter stuff was fan service, and that last shit with Jared Leto. What the fuck was that? Why? Why would you? That was so fucking.
That was
dumb.
supposed to set up the other movies coming.
Well, let's set up a movie we're never going to do.
Exactly.
But at least we got
they
to
weren't
see-
going to do it.
Yeah, but at least Zack Snyder, the director, got to put out what he was going to do.
And
I think there was the hope there too that the fans would run with it again, and
they are.
Yeah.
I mean, almost 3 million people would restore the Snyderverse now.
And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to see the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, especially now with the second one coming out. Like, I'd like to see what David Ayer or whatever his name was really did with it, because apparently Jared Leto's a lot better in that too. But we'll never know.
Yeah.
And that did not redeem his Joker. That was annoying and stupid.
Yeah,
but no tattoos. So
Yeah, I guess.
By the way, this is the second time I've ever had this beer. One time I had it at Beer Sauce Shop, and the bartender bought it for me. He said, "You got to try this beer and tell me what all you taste." And you taste all the fruit in it, and there's not one piece of fruit that's used in the making of this beer. It's all the different hops to make that fruit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
Have you ever had it?
I don't think so.
Take a drink of it.
I have a cold, so
don't
I
take
will
a
not
drink
take a
of
drink
it.
of it.
You
Take a
I'm
can.
getting over a cold.
take a can. You certainly think there's tangerine or orange or something, and there's not. There's not one piece in it.
Interesting.
I'm drinking this Boulder beer. It's a Mojo.
It's a Boulder beer.
High altitude IPA. It's a Colorado beer. It is just an IPA, and it's pretty refreshing. Like, it's been a while since I had just like a non-hazy or not double IPA, and you're like, oh yeah.
I drink so many hazy IPAs. I sent Jay a picture of one that you couldn't get an ounce of light through the can.
Yeah. Sometimes that's just too much for me after a while.
It's not when it's your 9th or 10th beer of the day.
Yeah.
It was perfect for me.
Yeah.
I'd been drinking Bell's Two Hearted Ale all day at the facility.
Oh, yeah.
So when I got there, I was like, I need something different. How about an IPA? Which Bell's is borderline IPA. So.
Yeah.
But
it's a pale ale.
By name, but bitter
that's
by
same
taste.
as like Citywide is a
Hey, see
American Pale Ale.
They got a citywide day
or something.
No, they got a citywide day. St. Louis gave them a citywide day.
No, really?
Yeah, 4 Hands of Fish since they've raised so much money and
That's
done good
freaking
things.
awesome.
Yeah.
They're selling a 30-pack somewhere, and if you get a golden can, you win something.
If you get a golden can, you get to go see how they make the beer and Willy Wonka style makers get to come out.
Loop is making the
I really hope they have beer flavored wallpaper. That'd be fucking sweet. With that little eyes symbol, the eyes artist downtown artist.
The IPA paper tastes like IPAs. Speaking of awesome, what'd you bring next?
I checked out 2 documentaries. The Last Blockbuster.
Oh yeah, I watched it
Because that's got a soft spot in my heart because I worked there for a while, and that's where I met my wife.
Nice.
Oh,
I'm a Schnucks video
that's
guy.
way more sweet than we need on our podcast.
Yeah.
But no, it's got a soft spot to me because I being 43, I was in the breadbasket of the not just a teenager, but I went. So when I was in college, we were still in the VHS world.
Yeah.
It wasn't until well after college when DVDs became the thing.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, whether you were drinking with your dudes, whether you were on a date with your girl, or whether you were all by yourself, the one thing that you could do to make all 3 of those groups happy is go to Blockbuster or go to the video store and find just different kinds of movies, whether it was when you're with your dudes or something, you're trying to get a new release, or with my guys we would do all the fucking cheesiest martial arts movies ever. With the girl you just try to get something romantic, or by yourself that's when I would try new movies like just I remember going to the store one time and renting what's that I think it's Clive Owen, where he's a cemetery. It might be the where he's a cemetery attendant, and every night he just has to beat the dead bodies back down into the ground or keep them from.
I don't know what that is, but I want to watch that.
It's not Clive Owen. I'm going to look it up though. It's an awesome, but like movies like that, or going back to the day, Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah. So or just that feeling like when you get there. And that one copy of whatever you wanted to see was there left, and you're like, I got the last fucking one, yeah!
Well, and see, I liked Blockbuster better than Schnucks.
Yeah.
Because if my dad took me, I could just grab anything and be like, here, I'm going to rent this one.
Yeah, there's no
Here's
picture.
Basic Instinct.
Yeah, there's no picture.
He had no clue what movies were out, so he knew nothing about them.
Yeah.
My mom's there. She's going to hear Basic Instinct. She'll be like, no way.
Or read the synopsis on the back and be like, nope. Yeah, the Schnucks, they had the jackets that held the the jacket that held the jacket. Yeah.
So, I believe I was wrong. I mean, it is called Cemetery Man, and it's Rupert Everett was the star of it at the time. And I'm going to show you guys a trailer when we're done.
Okay.
I loved it. 94, the kind of movie you could only find at your video store.
Yeah.
And I loved in the documentary how that one fan said that, if there's not a movie, the last Blockbuster, the woman will go buy it and make sure she has it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she orders it for their customers to have everything they want.
Have you watched
awesome.
Bender, the documentary?
No, I
it's totally worth it because so many, like Paul Scheer and Stanley.
Yeah, I saw it. I've watched.
They all work there.
Yeah.
Well worth it. That's a 5 out of 5 for me.
And the mind blowing thing, the other thing that DVDs, which I don't know if they cover, but now that we're on this, a couple of my favorite things, I work in the video stores. Before DVDs came out, if you lost the VHS, it was like a $500 fee.
Yeah.
So I used to work for V-Stock, and then I owned my own store.
Yeah.
Jay was one of my subscribers. We talked about it on here. But one time I was at V-Stock, and, I'd have movies on the shelf for sale, and this woman came up and just kind of started laying movies, and I thought, what are you doing? You buying all these? But she was pitching a fit. She'd pulling newer movies off and go, "Hell, you can't. This is illegal that you're doing this. This movie, I own a video store, and this movie cost me $240." And just pitching a fit. And I was like, "What the fuck?" And I knew about how they had that thing. I knew how Blockbuster.
You couldn't own them.
Yeah. And so she was just like going crazy on us, and I'm like, "Are you going to buy all these?" And she's like, "No." And I go, "Then you need to get the fuck out of my store. You're just making more work for my employees." And she's like, "I'm going to report you." I go, "Report me for what, bitch? I buy these from the public." Like, this is not me and I did go to Walmart on New Movie Day, and I'd buy like 5 copies of the brand new one so we'd have it for people to come in. And it just helped keep it. It offered trade bait, and it also discouraged shoplifters from, because I'd always say once we get more than 5 copies of something in, we'd pay out less. And shoplifters would bring me 10 copies of like Band of Brothers when it came out on Blu-ray. They're like, "Well, this thing's $150 brand new. You're only gonna give me $10." I go, "Well, your dipshit counterpart brought 5 of them in to me earlier. So what do you want me to do?"
And one of my favorite all-time stories when the new Harry Potter came in, and every like Friday, Saturday night, you get like the family, like, "What's in?" And like, and this lady's coming all the time. I always thought she was weird for other reasons, but she had her grandkids with her, and I was like, "Oh, the new Harry Potter's in, and I have one left if you want it." And she's like, "Oh, we don't believe in devil worship." I was like, "Oh, okay."
What's the film you asked for? Happy Scrappy Rainbow Puck?
Yeah. Oh, okay. And then like just people like that, like you'd see the guys whose daughters were like coming up trying to watch teenage coming of age PG-13 stuff, like there would be it, and they wouldn't let them watch. They'd be like, "Why don't you go back and get Care Bears again?" And she's like 14. I'm like, "You're gonna turn your daughter into like the most like raging partier the moment she steps out the door in high school."
One of my favorite moments in all my life was I lived with my friend Pete, and me and Pete were very good friends, very bad roommates, and we're, even when I see him to this day, there's still we've forgiven each other for our transgressions, I think, but there's still an edge of like, I didn't like living with you to it. And one of the reasons is he kind of just moved his girlfriend in with us, like, and she was there all the time, even when he wasn't there. Like,
didn't adjust the rent?
No, didn't.
That's the biggest problem.
And she's doing her laundry all the time and stuff. But anyway, we're sitting around one day, and Harry Potter had just came out. I think it was Harry. No, might not have been Harry Potter. Oh, it was Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
It was Lord of the Rings, because it predated me moving to Springfield, so that's when Harry Potter books were still big. So we're sitting there one day, and we're talking about Lord of the Rings, and she goes, "Well, I won't go watch it." She was a preacher's daughter, by the way. And I go, You won't go watch it?" She goes, "No." She goes, my dad and a group of the petitioners at his church they're gonna go protest the film. And I go, "But why?" And she goes, "Because it's witchcraft." And I go, "Okay." And she goes, "Well, that's evil versus evil. There's no good guy in that." And I go, "That's your stance." And she's like, "Yeah." She goes, "You should look at it that way too. You can't glorify a situation where they're using witchcraft to fight witchcraft, because that's just evil versus evil." And I go, "But you've been in my house sleeping with your boyfriend for the last 2 months. And that's okay? Or should I call your dad and have him protest out in our parking lot?" And she's like, but she wouldn't talk to me. For the rest of my life, she never talked to me. She ended up cheating on Pete, which was pretty awesome.
Also evil.
Yeah. Also evil. Yeah.
I have a cousin that's kind of that way about the Harry Potter movies, too. So, like, family things, you don't want to mention it. But I kind of want to.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
you're way different from me. I'd be talking about how I just read the books for the 6th time in a row.
Yeah. Well, his daughter is like, "Do not mention them. I don't want to go through this again."
Yeah. So, you're nicer than me. Yeah.
Depends on how much I'm drinking at the
time. That's right. So. And then the truth comes out.
Yeah.
Beer does nothing but reveal the truth.
Yeah. I miss the videos. I should watch it, because that was the best time. Like movie posters.
Oh, so
many movie posters.
Yeah, that's all my house was. I had a bunch of movie posters. I had a life-size Clint Eastwood and a lifetime John Wayne. And every Super Bowl, we dressed them up in I'd print out pictures of the team logos that were on the Super Bowl.
Nice.
And I'd dress them for every holiday, like Mardi Gras or all that.
And then we'd get the early screeners.
Yeah.
And I would take them home and then I bought a double-sided VCR, and then I would dub them and then sell them at school. I made like $200 off next Friday.
That's awesome. Yeah. My Clinton John one time I come
allegedly.
Home. Yeah, allegedly. Statute of limitations.
Yeah, it's gotta be expired by now.
So I come home from work or something one day, and we had these chicks that lived across the parking lot that we were always hanging out with and stuff, and we're not having a real party. We're just having a little get together, and I come home and they're all laughing. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys laughing at? And they wouldn't tell me. No big deal. And I was like, fuck you guys. You're crazy. And then like a week later, pictures started popping up around my house. They had taken John and Clint and did like a day's worth of naughty pictures all over town with them, and slowly were revealing that John and Clint had been seriously abducted and things that you like smelling dog crap on their faces. Just messing with me. And it was a good joke.
Yeah, it's fun.
But what was the other documentary you brought up?
So then I watched Biggie, I Got a Story to Tell.
Oh, I watched that as well.
Yeah, that was really...
What channel is that on?
That's on
what
Netflix.
app is it?
Yeah. So they did one on, I think it was A&E. Mm-hmm. That was... They're almost the exact same.
Yeah.
The one thing I like about I've Got a Story to... You know what? I don't know that there's anything different, actually. I take it back. They're both good.
Yeah.
You don't...
Biggie Smalls?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't need to watch both of them, but if you find yourself watching either one, you've spent a good amount of time doing something that's fun.
Yeah.
I'll throw one on tomorrow because I could throw something like that on while I'm working from home.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to watch. Like,
do the Biggie because then you got the music from time to time.
Yeah, because I can't watch I can't throw a movie on because then I just stop working and start watching the movie.
Yeah.
I think it's about a 4 out of 5 for me. It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it brings back all those old memories. Do you guys have anything else in terms of real topics to talk about, or should we throw it to Missy?
I was gonna give my documentary that.
Go ahead, real quick.
No, it's awful. I watched. It's good. That Seaspiracy, but.
I haven't. I was going to watch it, but I didn't.
It's really, really
painful.
A lot. Yeah, just.
Well,
gut-wrenching.
I was going to say, since there's nothing, even though we kind of put a little bit of ridiculousness in between, there's nothing better than a segue from Biggie to talk about another rapper that just died in the first thing and throw it to Missy. DMX.
That was
too bad Tom's not back on the show yet.
Yeah, because he would have definitely done
so many. Just so many too soon jokes. You know?
Yeah.
I really feel bad for Prince Philip because
maybe X
nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah.
Right away.
Tom would say something like maybe X shouldn't have gave it to himself.
Yeah,
something I don't know.
Maybe one last.
Yeah. It turns out he stopped, dropped, and just didn't get back up.
No, he shut down.
Yeah, he shut down.
Did not open up shop.
Did not open up shop. But I tell you what, though,
rest in peace, though.
It did give us, and I know we've talked about the on this show, early on this show, we debated the merits of who was the MC of their little decade or whatever, and you were a big proponent of how big he was, and I was like, yeah, he's big, but was he that big? I mean, me and Missy took a stroll down memory lane on the way to Indy. He had a lot of good songs.
He did.
I'll have to go back and listen.
His party anthems are the stuff I like the least, but it's
he had some good songs.
Yeah, It's Dark and Hell's Hot it's a good all around album. Like I read a couple articles. I don't know if you listen to Kendrick Lamar, but
Kendrick Lamar, yeah.
Yeah, but To Pimp a Butterfly in particular is basically just one overarching story throughout the whole thing. It like tells it, and Dark as Hell's Hot is pretty much like that same thing, like of his struggles and everything. And it's a good album, and his voice was just fucking awesome.
Well, see, there is the problem. I do like him, but there was the rub with me in terms of DMX. His voice was good, but his voice was also Onyx. His voice was also Ja Rule-ish.
Yeah, but he was before them.
He was not before Onyx.
No, but he was before Ja Rule, and then
it was around the same time.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
And then
Ja Rule, if Cookie Monster was a rapper, and a bad actor.
Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie. I liked Ja Rule back in the day too.
It's an okay song.
And then you go back and listen. And then you go back and listen to it, and you're like, it wasn't that great.
Well, he fucked up and he picked a fight with 50 Cent's crew.
Yeah,
and that didn't end well.
No,
it's very hard to roll with to pick on anybody who rolls with the rap god Eminem and not expect retribution because it was on that D12 album.
Yeah.
And that was Eminem on that album, and you're fucked.
Yeah. And then his whole crew was spectacular rappers.
Yeah.
They were all battle rappers, too.
Yeah,
so,
that's where they all came
it's
from.
really a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, Twitter's been nonstop with, like, stories and pictures of, hey, he stopped at a Waffle House and just was like,
DMX.
hey, can I fry up some omelets in the back and hang out? And he's just hanging out with people.
It's it's not an uncommon story. I mean, it's usually reserved for rockers.
Yeah.
But the guy just couldn't get off the stay away from drugs.
No, and whatever his other troubles were with, like, the drugs, and then he also had some, like, animal cruelty and tax evade, like the basic celebrity shit that happens.
I've got one more for the throw to Missy before the last one, and I'll wait till you guys do a couple before I get to the last one. But speaking of drugs, last night was the final episode of Shameless, and
I didn't know you guys watched that.
Oh yeah, we've been since day one. And it was a good final episode. Missy cried. It was a kind of episode. And this is a slight spoiler, and it's kind of the way
I'll never watch it.
You'd expect Frank to go out.
That's the dad, right?
Yeah, but I'll tell you what they did. They almost pulled they basically pulled the Sopranos on us without the black screen. Is that they gave us where the people might be headed post final credit.
Yeah,
but they didn't show us, and they didn't tell us that they went there. Like at one point, Carl Gallagher, he's a police officer now, and he's a good police officer as it turns out, but because he's a good police officer, he keeps getting demoted, so now he's meter maid. Well, and a police officer buddy of his who's at the end of his tenure, they're sitting in the bar, and all these, they're trying to gentrify the South Side this whole season. So, and V and Kevin are selling the bar, and they're going to move to Kentucky, but they're not getting the offers that we want. And that they want, and Carl and his buddy are sitting there, and they're like, he goes, this would make a really good police bar, and he goes, it really would. He goes, you just don't have these kind of places anymore. He goes, maybe we should go in as partners buy it. And he goes, well, I don't have any money. He goes, well, I got a lot of money. He goes, oh, really? And then they go, and then he never come back to it. Like it's like they leave all the plot threads dangling on purpose. So, but it was good.
It's a Showtime show, right?
Yeah.
At least they finished it. Showtime has a bad rap of just dumping shit.
Well, I mean, Ray Donovan kind of dumped because of partly because of COVID and partly, but I mean, they finished Californication, they finished Big Love.
I guess they did finish Dexter, but everyone hated Dexter.
Well, it's not done; it's coming back. So,
well, it was done until this.
Yeah, because it was a very bad ending.
So on Shameless, did Fiona come back for the last?
No, Emily Rossum didn't, and so Missy and I had a good conversation about that last night. That is the norm for the person not to come back.
Yeah.
George Clooney didn't come back for Anthony Edwards' funeral in ER.
Donald Glover didn't come back for Community.
In fact, the most notable comeback, and they did not give him really but one or two lines, was Stephen Carell as Michael Scott.
Yeah.
And his only line was, "That's what she said." That was his only line in the episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Office was never my thing. Like, I enjoyed it.
I love it.
I pretty much quit when he left. We couldn't get into it after that.
I think you should go and watch it just to finish it. And man, there's some tear-jerking scenes later on in it, man.
Yeah.
I was a Parks and Rec guy.
I like Parks and Rec, and me and Missy started it, but I like The Office better. And again, it's kind of a WandaVision, Falcon, and Winter Soldier scenario. They can both be awesome without comparing them to each other.
No, yeah, I 100%.
But that's not what the world does. They're like, Office is no Parks and Rec, or Parks and Rec's no Office. Well, good, because they're both two separate fucking shows.
Yeah. And that's not what I was trying to do. I never
know what you were trying to
fell
do,
in love with The Office like everybody else did.
Why don't you redeem yourself by throwing something to Missy?
Did you see, speaking of Parks and Rec, that stripper who got arrested for squirting her juices all over the police officers who looks exactly like Amy Poehler?
No.
Google it. It's worth it.
Awesome story,
Totally fucking worth it.
Hadn't even heard the story.
No. The exact quote is vaginal excretions in self-defense. So she peed on him? Pretty sure she peed on him.
Oh, so she squirted, which is peeing.
Which is just peeing.
It was just peeing.
But she looks exactly like Amy Poehler. And It came out like a month ago, but then I guess Twitter found it again for a second time, and everybody kept tagging SNL to get Amy Poehler to come back and do.
So let me ask you this:
do a skit.
At any point throughout her career, has Amy Poehler been traditionally attractive?
Probably as Leslie Knope was probably her most attractive.
Yeah, probably.
But I don't think she's bad looking. I don't think
she is either. She's like Tina Fey, same thing.
I disagree. I think Tina Fey is very attractive.
Yeah, I do too.
I think she sometimes.
Nope. What about Kristen Wiig?
She's been naked in movies, and
that's not what I asked.
I'm happy about it. I don't know Kristen Wiig too, but
I think Kristen Wiig's attractive.
In Bridesmaids, very pretty. Other movies, not so much. Now I want Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, I basically everything. I think she. Yeah. I don't know. I think.
Yeah.
But again, though, it's up for debate.
I feel like you'd be intimidated by a woman that was funnier than you. Which is a low bar.
Yeah, it's a low bar. You mean a woman that could tell a joke?
Yeah.
So it's funny. It's like it's going back to The Office. It's like the what's her name from $1 Million Baby? It's like
Hilary Swank.
Is Hilary Swank hot or not? And The Office is sitting around, and Michael comes out of the thing and goes, "Oh, who's that? She's hot." And they walk in, and Jim throws his hands in the air. We have a winner.
Nice.
What do you got?
It's a good show. Don't get me wrong. I never dove in and loved it.
Yeah.
What do you got?
George R. Martin announced the book coming out in July.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, he's still got
not that book though. Is
no, it's The Joker Moon.
What is that?
I don't know. It's book number 40 of a series. He said you don't have to read the other 39 though to understand.
Because I haven't.
Yeah,
and I never will.
Yeah, and I didn't know he had 40 total books. He's got an open letter invitation to come on the show and defend himself.
Yeah.
He's got to defend himself for many reasons. One, he's got to defend himself for his lack of productivity, especially being good friends with Stephen King, who's the most productive. He's got to defend himself for being such a shitty writer that's able to write good books.
Yeah.
And he has to defend himself about not knowing how to end a plot thread.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, then he's a coward.
Yeah.
And a piece of shit.
Shots fired.
And from everything I've heard,
yeah,
he's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
So, but by God, some days, in order to be a hero, you got to pick a hill to die on, and this is my fucking hill.
Yeah.
That he's a piece of shit.
I saw that at dinner, and I started complaining to Aaron, and Man's like, give him a break. He's at least writing. I said, the last book came out like 2011. And she goes, oh, okay.
Hey, listen, this is an instance where your wife doesn't know what she's talking about.
That was Madeline.
Madeline. Okay, sorry, Madeline. Your daughter. But hey, listen, I got two daughters, and they often don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So
I told her.
Yeah. Yeah, you put her to, and then you pushed her down. Like, you're not so tough yet.
When I first got onto Reddit, I guess I clicked on the Game of Thrones follow thread or however Reddit really works, and it's still like when I go into Reddit, still has active like angry about season 8 stuff like on a regular basis. I'm like, you guys gotta move on.
Yeah. I mean,
it sucked, but come on.
I mean, it sucked, and I know not just me in this instance. The internet often loves to be, just wallow in hyperbole.
Yeah,
but it really was a historically big show with a historically shitty final season.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's gonna be like let's not Game of Thrones this from here on out. Like, for the next 50 years. But
see if we can
Khaleesi. There's been a lot of good stuff since then.
Hey, we're gonna have a plot twist with this character. Well, let's not Khaleesi it. Come on now.
Yeah,
and I hope he took notes too. So when the books come out, they're different. He fixes this stuff.
I got a feeling
the books are never coming out.
I got a feeling he was
die first.
He was sitting around his house watching season 6 and season 7. And he goes, "Oh, they're past me." He goes, "Oh, that's a good idea." Wrote it down. "Oh, that's a good idea." "Oh, that's a good idea." And then he watched season 8, and he takes that book and he goes, "Well, fuck all that."
Yeah. Well, it's like when
back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
When Breaking Bad was like the peak of its height or popularity, and everybody was like, he was quoted saying Walter White was such an interesting character that he had to write somebody into the Game of Thrones world that had like his mentality. I'm like, no, you don't need any more characters.
Yeah,
and by the way,
time to kill people.
Don't compare yourself to Breaking Bad. It had an amazing final episode.
Yeah.
Like, stop it, George.
Yeah,
or come on the show and explain yourself. All right, anybody got anything else?
Vice announced season 3 of Dark Side of the Ring, and they're producing a 30 for 30 on American Gladiators.
No,
I can't
really.
I can't wait for the 30 for 30. Vice, and they've been slowly leaking some of the episodes, but I think they're trolling us because some of them are ridiculous.
Yeah.
For the American Gladiator thing?
No, Dark Side of the Ring.
What is that? I don't know what that is.
It's a very good documentary about the dark underbelly of pro wrestling, some of the stories about the tragedies and stuff.
So, like, the first 2 episodes of season 2 were Chris Benoit.
Yeah. First season 1 was
dark stuff, but they're compelling.
Yeah, season 1 was King Kong Brody, who went down to Japan or the Dominican and got stabbed to death by the promoter in the shower.
That's interesting stuff.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of interesting stuff. It's on Vice, yeah.
They're all on YouTube.
Okay. And to piggyback your two, I'm excited about A&E's wrestling documentaries that kick off with Stone Cold.
Yeah.
And you can go watch.
Have you guys tried that beer yet?
Oh, yeah.
Cracker or whatever.
Broken Skull IPA.
Yeah, Broken Skull. Yeah.
You guys are way off.
I haven't had it yet.
It's good. We got it from the pack from the California.
Oh,
and now it's here.
Yeah.
I ordered it, and now it's here. It's a good everyday IPA.
Yeah.
Good. But A&E's doing a documentary starting at the end of this month on like 4 or 5 pro wrestling documentaries every Sunday in a row.
Yeah.
And they're starting with Steve Austin. I think they're doing a drive-in tour of it.
Are they doing Bret Hart?
Bret Hart's been done to death.
Yeah.
Has he?
Yeah, I mean...
What about Booker T?
He's one of them. Booker T's one of them, yeah. Bret,
I think I know what you're talking about then, because I know I saw
They might be doing Bret Hart, but Bret Hart has done... Wrestling with Shadows happened to capture his final
because he's got a big family. That his whole family was in it.
Dark Side of the Ring did Owen Hart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And, boy, that was a dark one.
Yeah, it was.
Some obscure Jake the Snake's in there.
No, I think Jake Snake's documentary was pretty good. So
they've actually
Diamond
done
Dallas
one. I have
Page.
no fucking idea.
Oh, Diamond Dallas Page did it.
Really?
Yeah.
When he found Jake, or when he got Jake and put him in his house, he put cameras anywhere and filmed his rehab and sobriety.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Sobriety,
I didn't know he had a...
Using his yoga program.
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Did
he have a snake? He had a snake, right?
No, he hated that. I mean, he loved the gimmick, but hated taking that fucking snake everywhere.
Yeah, I bet
there
that'd
were
be
a
annoying
million
as shit.
snakes. There were a million snakes.
It'd be annoying to have to.
There was never
always have
one.
this.
Yeah,
he doesn't use them anymore either.
Well, there's a
is he wrestling again?
He's a manager for.
Oh, okay.
There's an old way to get one over on a wrestler is give him a gimmick like carrying something.
Yeah.
Because you always have to have it. You got to carry it through. So one of the most famous was Perry Saturn, who got in trouble in the WWE. And so they gave him a gimmick that he was in love with a mop. So he had to fucking take that mop through every airport. And that was his punishment. And
That's like the fucking wrist show where they do that like for 30 days. You got to do something stupid.
But this sticks a lot longer.
Chavo Guerrero had the hobby horse for a little while.
Oh, man, that's fucking terrible.
But so I want to segue. Unless you got something else.
No, I was just trolling for fun.
So the last thing I'm going to bring up is I got a direct message from I'm going to spell it out at HORUS Kemp3 Horace Kemp on Twitter. He follows us, and I apologize, Horace, Sam. Sam the DM is his name on Twitter, and I apologize because I know your co-host I think follows us too, but his profile's fun. On Twitter, it says Dungeon Master for Hire /podcaster at challenge_0 and Blendersoft STL Nerd Sherpa Blurred. I guess that's Black Nerd, which is cool. BLM, and then so he's got all that stuff. He sent a message saying that have you guys? In fact, I can read the message. It says,
"That's probably better."
Yeah, let's do that. He goes, "Hey there, I just started listening to your show, and it's great. I make a podcast out of St. Louis myself. It's about Dungeons & Dragons. Have you guys ever done an episode about D&D? I said, I didn't see one in your description. So I said, we have not done an exclusive D&D episode. We did play Drunk Quest on the show, something we should do again. That was a blast.
100%.
And I said, but as a lifelong player, I'm more than willing to do one. And he said, yeah, my friends
play
and I.
Life.
He said, my friends and I would love to hear it, which indicates that maybe he's passed it on to people, the podcast, which good for him.
Thanks, buddy.
He goes, if you need an authority, so I reached out to him and told him that we'll.
So he's a dungeon master, though, right?
For hire, said DM for hire.
So, like, little cross-promotion type thing?
And he's got his own podcast. So I reached out, told him we'd come on. So I think I'm going to reach out to him again tomorrow while I'm editing this episode. And I think we have a guest next week.
Yep.
And then
summertime's a pretty good time. The sports slow down a little bit.
And I think the week after that we have a Freedom Jam musician coming on via Zoom. And then I think the week after that I'm going to reach out to this guy, and he said he'll come in person, which is always more fun.
So we schedule like a Saturday.
I'll say Saturday, Sunday. Saturday's usually filled with soccer. Sunday after I get done with softball, I'm pretty free. So that's what I'll probably.
Are we playing Dungeons and Dragons? I have no idea.
No, we're not going to play Dungeons. It's not a kind of game you could just sit down and play in an hour.
I didn't think so.
You need some time.
According to the movies that I've watched, it's a multi-week thing.
Those are the movies about D&D, not the D&D movies, because that would never leave you to be.
Jason Statham did a pretty good job in that, I thought.
That wasn't even a D&D movie.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure the Dungeons and Dragons movie has Jason Statham in it.
No, it does not. It has a Wayans in it.
Title, not necessarily.
No. His movies was Castles and Conquest or something like that, or something.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, look it up real quick before the episode goes off.
In the name of the king.
In the name of the king, that's it.
Siege Tale.
That's
and
it.
Then there was.
Yeah, he was not in Dungeons and Dragons.
There was a 2000 Dungeons and Dragons
with a Wayans brother.
Jeremy Irons in it.
Yep.
That's close, and it did have a Marlon Wayans. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Trust me, they're all awful, and I've watched every fucking one of them.
I watched one of them, and it was bad.
Yeah, it's very bad movies. But you know what's not so bad? Bringing this episode into the stable and putting it down for the night. Or putting it down forever, but we're not going to do that.
Ron Perlman's in this movie?
Yeah. So Bender.
We should watch this.
Well, tell people what you're going to do.
Hold on to your butts.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. And
Burt Reynolds is in it.
Yeah, it's... In the name of the king?
Yeah.
There's a million stars. Look up the studio. That may have been like a Chinese production. All these